So what happens in countries such as this, where everything is absolutely fabulous? Really, it is not a praise. Where it is absolutely fabulous. Actually, we have nothing at all to complain about except complaint itself. The thing that we need to make take root is the Dharma practice. If we really take refuge in His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and we take refuge in our root gurus, and we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and we have taken the the refuge vows and the Bodhisattva vows, and also we've had the great fortune to engage in the tantric vows, then we have a special responsibility to do our practices quietly, secretly, without advertisement, without any signs, without showing anything, to gain attainments, transformation of the mind. Transformation of the mind, not only that it manifests when we're in a good mood, but this transformation manifests whether we're in a good mood or a bad mood. In fact, when the mind transforms, the bad moods become less and less and less and overcome quickly. And then, because we don't live in a country where Buddhism has taken root in a grassroots level, then for us practitioners, we should not think that it's bad karma that we're born here. And I'll explain why. I've thought about it quite deeply for a long time. In fact, all of us who are born in this country or have the great fortune to come to this country or to live in this country, we have made prayers in our previous lives to spread the Dharma. That is why every day when we get together, we recite the dedication, 大寿纪念萨比给完尼拉手 etc. and 聚集教我宗告吧，聚集那么飘了。What are those prayers saying? What are they saying? That where there is no Dharma, may I spread it. Where there is Dharma, may I make it stronger. And especially where there's a misunderstanding of Dharma, may I clear it. May I take the responsibility to clear it. So for those of us who are born in foreign countries, and for those of us who are born in countries that the Dharma is not strong, or is weak, and has a lot of misunderstanding. Some of us are from countries, example like Taiwan, where Buddhism is very strong, and for us to do anything there, it is effortless. Effortless compared to countries where Buddhism has not taken hold. For some of us, we can stay in Thailand. For some of us, we can stay in Burma, Cambodia. We can do great practices there. There are many great forest monks there. Many, many great. We can stay in Nepal, we can stay in India, where His Holiness is. We can be born in Dharamsala. We can be born in all these wonderful places where the Dharma and support of Dharma and the practice of Dharma and getting Dharma help and assistance is so incredibly easy. So when we're born into a country like this, where everything on the outside is wonderful, but for Dharma, personal practice and outer practice is very, very difficult. You have to think deeper. Why? I've come to the logical conclusion that it is our own personal prayers. It is our own personal aspirations. It is our own personal wish. It is our own personal dedications from our previous life that we can spread the Dharma. And what more fertile place than somewhere like here, where the people are educated, intelligent, open, very gentle, extremely generous, very, very kind, and not only educated, but have the great fortune to be able to listen to logic. And in this country, the people are not overwhelmed by materialism alone. It is not like countries where there are other countries where it's pure 100% materialism. And to break against that is very hard. So what happens is, for most of us, where we can have an easier time in another country, in another city, in another province, in another state, we can have a much easier, maybe in our own little retreat house, maybe in our own land, maybe we have our own little house that we built to do the Dharma, and that we will be very comfortable there. Or we can go back to Dharamsala, we can go back to Mungkot, or we can go back to Taiwan, we can go to Thailand, or Cambodia, we can go back to Nepal, we can go to these places, and when we just open our mouth for Dharma, people fold their hands. And the support's there. Even if they don't want to support you, they don't think you're insane. In those countries, when you say, I want to be a monk, the whole support factor is there. In this country, when you want to say you want to be a monk, they automatically think things are going very bad for you. Things are not doing well for you. And the support factor for you to be a monk is near zero. And in fact, the families become very enraged if they hear you want to be a monk or nun, and even accuse the Dharma centers. So what happens is, in these type of countries, we are born, or we come to here, it is due to our aspirations. It is due to our prayers. It is due to our dedications. Do you think that every time we make dedications in front of Lord Tsongkhapa, they're empty words? Some of us, when we're tired, we just simply mumble the words really loud and quickly. Some of us, when we're not focused, when we're angry, we still say the words when we're together, when we're doing puja. Some of us, when we're very happy, we're thinking about something else. And we don't really concentrate because we're thinking about the next activity we want to do. We don't concentrate. But all of us, including me, sometimes really do concentrate and make those dedication prayers. And those prayers are very strong and very powerful. Like that, we must have made those dedication prayers in previous lives. And therefore, when we made those prayers in previous lives, they have to manifest. And I feel they have manifested now. So when we go through difficulties to open a center, it is a manifestation of our aspirational prayers in previous lives. When we take on difficult posts in the center, and we do our job, and we happily do it, it is a manifestation of our aspirational prayers from previous lives. Think about it. How can taking up a post in a Dharma center create unhappiness for you? Or be something that you dread, or you're afraid of, or you don't want to do? Or that you have the chance to do? Because doing Dharma work in any way, shape, or form is positive. So it must come from a positive motivation and a positive dedication. Think about it. And for some of us, we've come from faraway countries. And we give up, or we leave aside what we want to do, or what we can do, to come here to do Dharma. And it's a long journey. And visas are not easy. And it's high expenditure. So why would we want to do that? Definitely through the opening of our aspirational prayers. That we are here. We are here, and we are doing work. And in an environment that is not 100% supportive of what we want to do. And some of us, in the case of these monks, have great places, great monasteries, and great houses, and everything's set for them. And yet, they still want to go out and spread the Dharma and help where they don't have to. So, and when they stay in their respective monasteries and respective places, that they don't feel calm and they don't feel happy because they feel they can do something more. That must arise from aspirational prayers. And even some of us, when we don't want to, inverted commas, do the Dharma, and where we're not doing Dharma, our minds are not happy. Our minds are angry, frustrated, and our minds are not at peace, and we constantly fight with ourselves. That is very good. Why? That is the result of our aspirational prayers from previous lives, opening and manifesting. If we have no aspirational prayers from previous lives, think about it logically. Then if you don't do Dharma and you do negative work, you would not feel guilty or unhappy or at wit's end with yourself. You would be very happy. There are many people out there doing, I'm sorry, negative actions. And they have no remorse. They have no second thoughts. And they're very happy doing it. Or they think they're very happy doing it. And they engage in it. Whereas there are some people who do those kind of actions, and yet there's a calling inside. And that calling makes them unsettled, unhappy, and they fight with themselves. And that's a good sign. Why? If there was no Dharma seeds or aspirations, there would be no inner war. No inner war at all. So I look at it from study as a good sign. As a good sign. And if you all think about it, this is not good, this is not bad, this is not praise, this is not put down, this is the facts. Think about it. Now, these kind of teachings may not have been applicable 50, 100, 200, 300 years ago in Tibet. Why? There was no such, inverted commas, obstacles to do the Dharma. Why? It was so entrenched into the culture. Same thing for other Buddhist nations. Same thing for China. 200-300 years ago, if you want to be a monk, wow, 7 generations for your family, luck. It's praised, they respect. Even great kings and princes have become ordained monks. Even beautiful and fabulous princesses in the Chinese tradition have become nuns. So what happens is, but now if you talk about that in China, it's totally the opposite. Not because the people are bad, but the people holding the merits have taken rebirth somewhere else, other places. So like that, maybe, and I'm going a little too far by assuming this, maybe Tibet's prayers of hundreds of years of high lamas and great geshes and great nuns and great bhikshunis and great yoginis praying all the time that we may spread Dharma into samsara. How can those prayers manifest only in Tibet alone, again and again and again and again? Maybe those prayers needed to explode and go out into other parts of samsara. So we can think about it like that. In 1,000 years of Tibetan people making prayers and aspirations, I mean the real practitioners, not just the ordinary people, when they gain certain levels of realization, they definitely can emanate their bodies out into many places. So the population of Tibet staying at 6 million is not some young Tsema Yoman is Sena. There is nothing to be surprised about. In fact, it's very logical because their emanations go out all over samsara to benefit. So what happens is, my point is, when we are in a country that the Buddha Dharma is not entrenched yet, the country is not bad. The place is not bad, but it gives us a special opportunity to enact the prayers that we have done in previous lives. So if I am a Lama, if I am a real reincarnation, then for me to hang around in Ganden, happy, served by my students, getting fat, which I was, and not having any pressures, and raising funds was very easy, and not having to deal with politics of lay people, and to start centers, and to beg people to take posts, and to raise funds, and to entertain all types of people, and to listen to all their worldly problems year after year after year again. Why am I happy doing this here, where I can escape back to the monastery and be happy doing nothing there? So when I think about it again and again, I had a lot of personal protests about coming here and doing work here. Why? And I'll tell you the truth. Because it's just too much work. And the work never ends. So all this that you're sitting on, all this that's on top of you, that's next to you, in front of you, behind you, on your bottom, even directly in front, everything around you is a manifestation of my work. Of my work for years. Now, you may say, oh, what is that about? Yes, what is that about? But my work is a manifestation of my work combined with a whole group of people that have made aspirational prayers in their previous lives, perhaps with me, perhaps with people related, or we have some related prayers that brought us all together. So the manifestation of everything here, on top, on bottom, in some way, to some degree, is the result of our aspirational prayers, all of us put together. So if we can get together and create what we have created in such a short amount of time, due to our aspirational prayers, imagine if we hold hands and work together harmoniously, responsibly, and with great enthusiasm and good motivation. Imagine how much more can be created. Why? Why? Because if we don't do it, most of us, all of us, will feel as if we have wasted our lives. And I'll tell you why. Not because the Lamrim says so, not because your Guru says so, not because your Dharma brothers and sisters says so, because in our hearts, we have the manifestations of our prayers from previous lives. So when those prayers manifest, there's nothing we can do but to do it. And if we don't, there is conflict. For example, people who are meant to protect other people by the law, and they can see people being stepped on and being taken advantage of. Those people were meant to use correct law to protect other people, because maybe they were judges or whatever people in administrations or ministers in previous lives, and they made prayers that in this life they can do that, and that can somehow manifest as a lawyer. So they don't become a lawyer, and they don't do their studies well, and they fail, or they do something else, maybe hawker. It's not that hawker is bad. It's that they are not able to put effort towards what they're supposed to do, and therefore they have unhappiness. So why is that? When we have created an aspirational prayer from a previous life, and it needs to manifest, we have the seeds, but we have to apply the effort. Therefore, even high Rinpoches, when they come back, they have great minds, sharp minds and quick minds, and they want to practice, they want to do, but their aspirational prayers needs to open up by environmental conditions, such as the monastery, such as study, such as guru devotion, and in short, the 6 paramitas need to be applied to them personally, so that what they have aspired to do can manifest.